the complete flow of execution. Complete flow of execution means whenever you run a SAP UI5 application, you will get some application output in a next window. So from the time you run the application till you get the output, what are the files that has been executed? What is the code that is present in those files? So understanding this entire flow is nothing but the flow of execution of SAP UI5 application. For example, this is our batch 72 SAP UI5 application. So I'm right clicking on this application. To run the application, you need to select preview application. So select preview. And then from this list, you need to select index.html, which is the third option from the top. Select index.html. And now you can see the application output in the next window. See, the application output has been loading. Now this is the output of your application. Okay, so from the time when I right click and click on the preview and selected index.html till I get this output in the next browser tab, what is happening behind the scene? What are the files that are getting executed, and what is the code that are present in each and every file? So that code is called as skeleton code. So what is the skeleton code that has been written in all these files? So understanding this entire thing is nothing but the flow of execution of SAP UI5 application. Okay, now let's see the flow. In any SAP UI5 or Fiori application, the flow is same. The first file that gets executed is index.html. We already understand as a part of the structure of SAP UI5 application that index.html is the starting point of execution. Whenever you run a SAP UI5 application, the first file that gets executed is index.html. Remember, index.html is the only HTML file in SAP UI5 applications. You will not find another HTML file. Okay. Moreover, this index.html is already coded. The developer no need to write even a single letter inside index.html. Okay. When I am explaining this entire flow, each and every file will contain certain code. This particular code is called the skeleton code present in each of these files. Now, I request everybody, when I am explaining this skeleton code, it is enough you understand what is the meaning of the code. Okay. Syntax and all, you no need to worry at this time because we have not yet started writing the code. After 2-3 days, when we actually start writing the code, at that time I will explain along with the syntax. Okay, so syntax is not needed in today or till the completion of this particular topic. So it is enough you understand that skeleton code meaning. Okay, right. So let's open our first file. By the way, let me read out all the flow. So index.html is the first file. This makes a call to the component.js. Component.js makes a call to the manifest.json. Now inside the manifest.json, there is a configuration called root view configuration. This root view configuration points to a first base view called app.view.xml. Now inside this application base view, which is app.view.xml, a view container is loaded. The view container technical exact full name is sap.yum, which is a library, .app, which is a view container. I will explain, don't worry. And now inside this view container, your actual views like view 1, view 2 will be loaded into this view container, and who will load them? They are loaded by the router. So router loads the actual views like view 1, view 2 into the view container. Okay, so in this view container all the views will go and sit. Anyway, once as long as we are progressing in each file, then you will understand the flow as well. Okay, now index.html is the first file in the flow, so let's open it and understand what is there inside index.html. Right, so this is the skeleton code of index.html. So as I already mentioned, syntax, do not worry, because we are not going to write any HTML here. This is the only HTML file. So this is a typical HTML structure which starts with a doc type HTML, indicates that it's a HTML5 document. And this is the start of the HTML. This is end of the HTML. And the HTML contains a head tag. This is the head tag, and this is a body tag. So this is the structure of HTML document. So take any HTML document, it contains the doc type, then HTML tag, then head tag, then body tag. That's all. Okay. So head tag, the head tag is normally used for bootstrapping and some browser settings. Okay, so normal typical browser settings. So here inside the head tag, so you can see some meta tags are there which you can ignore. So they are typical, any web application will contain these tags. And line number 7, so this is title, stands for browser title. So you can see this is called the output window. Okay, and this particular B72 SAP UI5 application, so this is called the title of the window. Okay, so here title tag stands for window title, output window title. Okay, for example, if I remove SAP UI5 here, so you can see the output window title also changed, B72 application. So if I do Control Z, you can see this will also change, B72 SAP UI5 application. All right. So this again you can ignore, but just necessary styles. The most important thing in index.html is this particular script tag. Inside your head tag, normally there will be some script tags. The script tag from line number 13 to the line number 24. So this is basically loading your SAP UI5 runtime libraries. It is loading SAP UI5 runtime libraries. So this loading of SAP UI5 runtime libraries, one second, let me just draw a line mark here. So loading of SAP UI5 runtime libraries is also called as SAP UI5 bootstrapping. So this is an interview question, certification question as well. All the interview questions that are possible in SAP UI5 I will be teaching in each and every day's class. Okay, there is no special interview questions that I will give you at the end. So whatever the interview questions I will tell in each and every class, you can note down, and they are that becomes the list of interview questions at the end. Okay, right. So SAP UI5 bootstrapping. So this is a very, very important interview question, guys. So what is SAP UI5 bootstrapping? Loading the SAP UI5 runtime libraries. So nothing but SAP UI5 bootstrapping. Got it? So here, inside this particular script tag, SAP loading its SAP UI5's core runtime libraries. So why this core runtime libraries we need to load? We need to load this particular runtime library, the bootstrap of SAP UI5 we need to load. Otherwise, none of your next flow will get executed. If this particular runtime libraries, if they are not loaded, then it cannot understand any of the rest of the files. It cannot execute any of the rest of the file. So if this index, if this particular bootstrap is missed, if this particular bootstrap is missed. For example, you have written a Java program. But Java runtime environment is not there. Then can your Java program run? Can you run your Java program and will it give the output? No. So without the Java runtime environment, you cannot run your Java program. So similarly, your SAP UI5 application to get executed, to understand it, to interpret it, we need the SAP UI5 runtime libraries. So without SAP UI5 runtime libraries, your rest of the story, the rest of the flow will not get executed. For example, so basically SAP loads the runtime by using a JavaScript file, so which is SAP UI core.js. So I'm just renaming it with SAP UI core 1. Okay. Now let us see if I get the output or not. So you can see the other tab got refreshed, and you can see the output window is not loading. It is blank. It is blank. It is no more working. What is the reason? The reason is the SAP UI5 bootstrapping, that is loading SAP UI5 runtime libraries, has not happened successfully. So that's the reason it is not giving any output. The reason is this flow, the immediate next component.js itself will not get executed. Okay, so that's the very important thing, and that is loading the bootstrap. Now we need to understand this entire bootstrap line to line. As a part of this bootstrapping, that is loading SAP UI5 runtime libraries. Now let us see what are all the things that are happening. The first one is ID. So it's a ID given for this particular bootstrapping. SAP-UI-bootstrap. So he has given the relevant name, SAP-UI-bootstrap. And then source. Source means from where this particular bootstrapping has been done. The bootstrapping has been done from this resources folder that are present in SAP HANA Cloud Platform, that is SAP BTP. So from SAP BTP there is a file called SAP UI core.js. So this particular file, SAP UI core.js, contains the entire SAP UI5 runtime. Okay, so this particular JavaScript contains the entire SAP UI5 core library. So if this does not get loaded, then the rest of the flow will not get executed at all, because it cannot understand, it cannot interpret the rest of the flow. Okay, right. So and even this also some people will ask in the interview, like what is the SAP UI5 runtime library, means from which library the SAP UI5 runtime gets loaded. Then your answer should be SAP-UI-core.js. Okay, right. The next thing that happens after this particular, as a part of this runtime bootstrapping, is loading of the theme. Loading of the theme. At the time of bootstrapping itself, a theme will be decided, a theme gets loaded, and that theme is data-sap-ui-theme. So this indicates the theme to be loaded, and right hand side whatever is there, that is a theme name. SAP_horizon is a theme name. So basically what is a theme? A theme gives you a particular color combination. So this we already discussed in our last classes as well, right? So a theme gives you a particular color combination, and SAP has so many themes. Whatever the theme that you want, you can keep it here as a part of development. Okay. However, this theme is not a final theme. You can, once your application goes to the launch pad, you can select your own theme. Okay. So here also you can, at the time of development itself, so you can, so let's say in your SAP FIORI Launchpad, let's say the theme you are using is SAP_Belize. So you can keep that particular SAP_Belize theme here itself at the time of development, so that you will understand how your application is, how your application looks like before it goes to FIORI Launchpad itself. Okay, so that is the reason this particular theme has been given. For example, if I go here inside my FIORI Launchpad, so I know that in my FIORI Launchpad, my end users are using a particular theme. So for example, this theme. Let it load. So I'm changing the theme. Normally we don't use these kind of pinky colors. So for example, this particular theme. Let's take Belize. Yeah. So let's say end user is using this particular theme. Then at the time of development, I can decide, I can choose this particular theme and develop, so that I know how my application is going to look like after it is kept in the launchpad, right? So now if I see my application, you can see the application has changed to this particular theme. See, this particular theme and this particular theme both are looking the same. For example, if I go to the other theme, so let's say the client is using Belize_deep, then what I can do at the time of development itself, so I can also use SAP_Belize_plus. So it's a technical name for that Belize deep. Okay, so SAP_Belize_plus. Now you can see the entire output will change. See, this is the output. This is the theme, and the same theme you can see here. So that is a provision given in the index.html. So whatever the theme the customer is using in the SAP FIORI Launchpad, the same theme you can keep it here, you can edit here, and you can develop the entire application, so that you will get a view of this application before it goes to the Launchpad itself. Right. The next important thing is the line number 17, 18 and 19. So very, very important actually. Data-SAP-UI-resource routes resource roots. So what is the meaning of resource roots? The meaning of resource roots is root folder for the entire resource files. Can anybody from the audience tell me which folder is called as a resource root folder for all the resource files?
Web app folder.
Web app folder. Okay. So yesterday or day before yesterday, when we were looking at this, when we completed this structure of SAP UI5 application class, in that class I marked each and every folder and explained, and web app folder I marked it as the root folder for all the resource files, nothing but the root folder for all resource files, right? Now it is saying data-sap-ui- resource means the root folder for all the resource files, which is web app folder, but this web app folder will be identified by using this particular name in the entire application. Okay, that is the meaning of this particular line number 17, 18 and 19. Okay, the root folder for entire resource files is web app folder, but web app is a generic name. Web app is a generic name. From after this line number 17, 18, 19 get executed, after that the root folder, which is the web app folder, so this web app folder will be identified or denoted by this particular name, com.demo.b72 UI5 application. This will be identified by this name. So my dear friends, wherever you find this com.demo.b72 UI5 app, you also need to understand that this is nothing but your web app folder. This is nothing but web app folder. Okay. So this is very, very important line. So my dear friends, if you want to point out to any of the files inside the web app folder also, we will be pointing along with the path. So at that time, we don't give the name of the web app folder as web app, but instead we give the name of the web app folder as com.demo b72 UI5 app. Okay, so web app is a very generic name. So this web app folder will be identified with this particular name. Okay, so this becomes the root folder for all your resource files. Okay, so in simple words, the web app folder is nothing but this one. This is nothing but your web app folder. All right. Yeah. So that's all about the index.html. These are again some normal settings. So you don't need to worry about that. So default settings. The next, the line number 20 makes a call to the component.js. So let us understand the line number 20. Data-sap-UI-on init stands for on initialization of the above libraries, on successful loading of the above libraries. So go and call your next module, which is component support. Okay, nothing but component.js. So that is the meaning of this. Okay, so understand the line number 20, guys. The line number 20 says SAP-UI-on init means on initialization of the above libraries. So once your SAP UI code.js gets loaded, once your theme gets loaded, Hi guys, there is a small drop in the internet. I don't know when exactly this happened, but I just wanted to confirm from you. Are you able to listen the last 1 minute? So I was just explaining this index.html. I was saying like the line number 20. So have you clear about the line number 20? The meaning of line number 20 is, so upon successful initialization of these libraries, it will make a call to the component.js. So this is what I explained. So did you hear this, or even this explanation is missing?
We heard that, Rizwan, till then.
Got it. Okay. So fine, Monica. All right. Now let's open the component.js, which is our next file. Yeah. So I will also open the view1 controller just for a comparison, right? In SAP UI5, all the JavaScript files follow the same syntax, okay? Right. So in the flow, the next file is the component.js. So let us understand the component.js. So a little bit uh, I will explain from, line to line, I will explain, right? So when you go to any JavaScript files inside the SAP UI5 application, every JavaScript file will start with a line with the statement sap.ui.define. So you can see in controller also sap.ui.define section. So this particular sap.ui.define section, so this is called asynchronous module definition. So I will explain what exactly it is. In short, we call that as AMD, asynchronous module definition, AMD. Okay. Now, what is this particular asynchronous module definition? What exactly it does? To understand this a little more perfectly, little more clearly, I will give you an example. If you remember, in our college days, in the BTech first year, so in our engineering first year, there is a programming called C programming language. I don't think is there anybody here who don't know what is C programming language, because the C programming language is a basic language which is present for every branch. Does not matter CSE, ECE, EEE, IT, even biotechnology as well, right? So when we are writing the C programming language, so before we write the void main, we used to write hash include, hash include, hash include stdio.h, and then we used to write hash include con.io.h, and then we used to start the void main, so it is a main program, and then you write your program like whatever. For example, the program is for adding a two numbers, then int a comma b, okay, and then printf, scanf, all these things we use it to write. Okay, somebody might have already forgot this entire language, but maybe a little bit we can remember after seeing this particular code. So enter the first number, something like that, correct? And then we use it to write the scanf statement, it's scanf, something like this, %b comma a. So we are reading the first number into the variable a. So anyway, I'm not here to explain the C language, but so let us understand why we have written this particular hash include stdio.h and hash include con.io.h. So anybody from the audience answer me, what is the need to write hash include